Johnny Dare, Nycki Pace. It's Friday, man, all the way to the
end. Have a great Friday, you motherfucker.
Do you know where that comes from? By the way, Mr. Craig Gass just walked in.
Born February 15th in Mount Vernon, New York, he launched his stand-up career in 1993, quickly making a name for himself for his dad on impressions of Adam Sandler, Sam Kinison, Christopher Walken, Gene Simmons, and more. He's appeared on such shows as Sex and the City and The King of Queens, as well as being a frequent contributor on The Howard Stern Show. You can keep up with him through his website, getgas.com. And this weekend, you can see him live on stage in a gospel lounge at Knuckleheads. Please welcome comedian and longtime friend of the show, Craig Gass.
Look at you. Stay about. Just out every night. Just rest out. Just walking around.
Mad about town.
Hanging out.
A hangabout.
Most incredible man to ever come out of Kansas City, Christopher Elbow. I'm sorry. Was that bad? Was that? Hung out with Christopher Elbow.
Did you see my eyes light up?
That guy, man, am I a fan of that
I know,
dude.
right? Me too, man. Me too. What an amazing guy. And the story of Christopher Elbow is so fantastic because it's such a good success story. Again, what a magic success story. He was a server, worked in the industry, knew how to make chocolates, but it was a thing he did, like a hobby, a passion, right? But it wasn't. And he used to make them for his customers. And then somebody said, you should try this. You should do this.
Well, what he told us when we went to the factory 4 years ago, that what he would do is he'd put out one personal creation with a check at Emerald. Was it Emerald's?
Yeah.
Emerald's in Las Vegas. And it just was a little, just a treat that he had created that would come with the check. And people started going, hey, can I get a dozen of these? And, well, they're not for sale.
Yeah.
But I want to buy one. It's like, well, they're not for sale. And this demand started. So he started making it and selling it. And then wasn't it like 5-10 years, no matter how big his business got, he never caught up with the demand.
He could never catch up.
He could never, like the demand everyone's a crackhead.
Yeah.
Every one of us who tries these Christopher Elbow chocolates is like, what is this?
Well, and imagine what we're really talking about. You're going to make these chocolates. So now it's not just making them, it's mass producing, but never losing why they're so special. Now, on top of that, you have the Food and Drug Administration. You have to have a business. You have to have a factory.
Health codes.
You have to have workers. You have health work codes. You have all of this stuff that, as a human being, we have no concept of. And that's how you lose your ass in this world. Someone comes in and goes, I know how to do that, and they rob you. Or you lose control of your own company, or you lose sight of the vision of what you originally had, and it loses its specialness. But none of this happens. He manages to learn everything. How do you manufacture? How do you ship? I mean, I remember him telling us about they were trying to figure out how to ship even internationally because there's a hold at customs, and then you can lose your chocolates because they're only good for a certain amount of days.
Yes.
And that's when he learned packing with nitrogen.
Right.
And so there was all this crazy ass stuff. And then the fact that all of his employees switched jobs.
Yeah.
And they all learned to do the other
Genius.
person's job. And we walked through there for hours and saw how the whole thing was done, how the cocoa is sourced for the chocolate, how he goes down to Vietnam, goes to Guatemala, goes down to Central America and South America, and stays with the people. So instead of buying from the middle, which is where that guy makes all the money and the workers get nothing, he buys it directly from the people who are doing it. And that means they're part of the process. And it really, the whole thing is super kick-ass. Like everything about it.
All I know is I want to have sex with that chocolate. That chocolate is so, I just love that chocolate so much. And I took Elbow to go meet Bert and Chris Porter last night, and he brought a childhood friend with him. And I drive them back to the chocolate factory afterwards. And on the way back to the chocolate factory, they go, oh, hey, Chris goes, that's my first store right here. And I go, oh, yeah? And he goes, yeah, that's my first store. And then my first, the first place I used to sell it, there's a restaurant right up here, and I used to make chocolates right above, where we're about to pass right here on the right. And his buddy, who he grew up with in the back seat, goes, oh, yeah. He goes, when my kids were really young, I'd bring them over to my buddy. They've known each other since third grade here in Kansas City. And he goes, I'd bring my kids over, and Chris would always say to them, like, hey, do you want to go to my throwaway bag? He said because he goes because Christopher's standards were so high for the chocolates that he had a giant. And I go, do you still have throwaway bags? And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, you know what? And he knows me. He goes, Craig would love a vanilla bean throwaway bag. I go, is there a vanilla bean throwaway bag? And he goes, I couldn't. Oh, my God. That dude is so magical to me.
Did you explain to him how much his goddamn being friends with him has cost me?
Me too, dude.
My girlfriend and myself, it's the gift that everybody gets coming through Kansas City. If it's a birthday, if it's you're coming, you're visiting, if you've never been here. Again, it's art. It's beautiful.
It is.
Whether you buy a 4, a 6, a big box, a small box. But it became the standard now. Everybody gets some Christmas for birthdays, for gifts, for it's dinner time. Oh, you invited us for this. It's a thank you.
You're fired.
Everybody gets chocolates now.
Yeah, and Bert last night, Bert Kreischer was like, well, I'm on a keto diet, but dude, this looks beautiful. This looks beautiful. This looks so beautiful right now. I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as I get off this keto diet, dude, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to film it. I'm totally going to film it. I'm going to film it, and I can't wait. I can't wait to do that, and I can't wait to do mushrooms and drink alcohol again. And I was like, what does that have to do with anything? Bert was super, super fired up. Chris Porter, hometown guy, comes out and murders last night. Absolutely murders. And at the end of the show, Bert brings out the other comedians, Shane Torres and Chris Porter. And
for those of you who don't know, Chris Porter's from Kansas City. Just in case we didn't mention that. He is pure Kansas City. He used to live, his parents... You know my house where you came?
Yes.
His parents were 6 houses from there.
No way.
Yeah, literally around the corner.
I last night he was like, I graduated from DeSoto High School, and the place went, and I was like, all right, I guess that's a thing. That's a thing. I guess DeSoto High School is a real place. Yeah. And he just, I love that guy. Chris Porter is a rare guy that makes me not only just respond to everything he says on. I will jump out of my seat and go, yeah. He just gets me worked up. His whole set is an argument. His entire set.
Yeah.
I'll always remember that amazing joke he did about, and it's a true story. It happened to a friend of his. A friend of his matched up with a girl on a dating app, and was kind of hesitant because her profile pic was from 100 feet away. And he's like, I don't know shit. And then it turns out half her face is burned. To which the whole thing that Chris Porter says is like, man, you got to be honest. You got to go right in. Here's me. Boom.
Yes.
Because for that poor lady, best case scenario is the guy shows up and goes, Jesus, did that happen on the way here? What happened? Yeah. That's...
Oh, my God.
Right?
Oh,
dude.
Man.
Dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I'm doing my shows tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, and I'm grateful. I'm just filled with gratitude, man. Filled with gratitude.
How are you doing on tickets?
Sold out. First show tonight is sold out. There's less than 15 tickets, I think, for each show tomorrow. The late show tonight's going to sell. Sunday's going to. It's all selling out. Everything's selling out.
So if you want to get one of the last few tickets, get GASS.com. That's your last chance. The show will start on Sunday, 120 minutes after.
Yes.
2 hours? It would be 2 hours?
90 minutes.
90 minutes.
90 minutes after the Chiefs game.
So after we beat the Bears, come on down, be a part of it, celebrate the win.
By the way, James Inman was with me and Christopher Elvo. Watching them interact with each other was so fascinating
dear
last
God
night.
And sweet baby Jesus.
I go. Hey,
you really rolled the dice.
I did.
I love Inman, but Inman has no filter. Like he is,
dude.
And what you've told us on and off the air this week, I'm like, wow.
I go, Christopher, this is James Inman. He's one of the greatest comedians I've ever met in my life, and he lives here in Kansas City. And James goes, yeah. He goes, so we're going backstage, and I go, yeah. And he goes, did Craig tell you about the time he screwed me out of meeting Gene Simmons because a girl put her mouth on him? And I go, yeah, it's okay. And he goes, I would have put my mouth on you to meet Gene Simmons, Craig. And he's still angry about it. And I was like, all right, calm down.
Oh, you really threw the dice on bringing him to meet Christopher.
To see Inman on stage.
Inman,
he said all he wants to do is make fun of me during his set. And I was like, please do it. Go ahead. So, yeah, this weekend, Knuckleheads, getgas.com. I can't wait to see everybody. And then
and make sure you get there in time to see Inman. I'm telling you, don't miss Inman. He'll be strong.
Yes,
he's off-putting. That's my favorite way. I'm like, if you think this is going to be like, your basic comedy setup and then punchline, you're going to have a weird first date. It's going to really. Or if you are going for your first date, bring them out to the show because it's a good litmus test, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
If you both laugh, you're going to be just fine. But it may tell you take her home early.
Absolutely. It's funny. I've been making notes of stuff. This has nothing to do with anything besides the fact that it's a great story. And something came up at dinner the other night. So this is going to be I just, as the morning goes on, I just got to throw a couple things at you. This is totally disconnected, but Matt Sorum told me an amazing story that is just amazing on its own.
Matt Sorum is drummer for The Cult, for Guns N' Roses, for Velvet Revolver.
Yep.
It goes on and on.
The part 2 of the story makes the story insane. The story is that he has a cover band with Dave Navarro. I can't remember what the name of the band is, but it's an all-star lineup of guys who play cover songs, and they do corporate gigs. Matt Sorum is playing drums at the Viper Room, and the word gets back to the band.
Camp Freddy.
Yeah. Word gets back to the band. Chrissy Hind is in the bar.
From the Pretenders.
Legendary singer.
Gold in my pocket.
Chrissy Hind, yes.
Yeah.
And someone goes, it's Chrissy Hind up here. Who wants to hear Chrissy Hind sing some songs? Chrissy Hind. And everybody's cheering. And then through the crowd, here comes Chrissy Hind. And Matt tells me.
Brass in pocket, by the way.
From behind the kit, Matt Sorum goes, oh, wow, she's hammered. She gets up on stage. She's hammered. And they go, all right, let's do some songs. You want to, what do you want to play? And then they start playing a song, and Chrissy Hind stops in the middle of the song. She's hammered. It's chaotic. And at some point, Dave Navarro gets to the microphone and starts to say something when Chrissy Hind looks to her right, like, who is talking? And she looks at Dave Navarro and says, in so many words, I'm going to put my mouth on you. In so many words. Just change that around to where the FCC won't take away your license.
Yeah. I'm going to suck your D.
I'm going to suck your D. There you go. I'm going to suck your D.
Yeah.
And then David Navarro, and he goes, all right, hey, let's play some Pretenders. They start playing a Pretenders song. She walks over to suck his D. She drops down on her knees in the middle of the show to suck his D. I say to Matt Sorum, that's one of the greatest stories I've ever heard. And he goes, no, the greatest story is that the entire thing is on YouTube right now and nobody is watching the video. It's been on YouTube for 15 years.
No.
It's been on
Dave Navarro.
Chrissy Hind sucks Dave Navarro. And he goes, it probably has something like 20,000 views over the last 15 years. And Chrissy Hind is trying to rip Dave Navarro's pants off while he's playing guitar.
Where's the video? God damn it. Now I'm trying to find it.
Here,
hold on, he's got it bookmarked.
Yeah, I know I've sent it to some friends over the years. So
Chrissy Hind, I have it. It sucks. So I have Chrissy Hind.
Chrissy Hind, Dave Navarro.
All right, let me try that. There you go. There, go to that.
And it's been sitting there for 15 plus years. Wow. Now, here's the crazy thing.
2008? Is that when it happened?
I think so.
Because there's Camp Freddy Viper Room, July 17th.
Camp Freddy.
They're making out. There's Chrissy Hind and Dave Navarro squeezing her ass.
Yep. And then if you keep going.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. And she's trying to rip his pants off.
Oh, now, yeah. No, she's trying to yank it out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it cuts away. This video. It cut away.
Did it?
Oh.
So Chrissy Hind.
Yeah, she's back up.
I see an interview.
She's back up.
I'm back. Look, there's Chrissy Hind and David Navarro.
You did it.
Oh, yeah.
You did it.
So
she is punk rock.
I see an interview with her where she says she's been sober since 2008. So this might have been her moment. And how many?
I'd like Chrissy. Are you kidding me?
Okay,
I'd be so happy. She's a legend.
Johnny, how many views?
I'd suck her deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny, how many views does that video have?
That one has. Let me go to YouTube on it because I pull it up for another page.
How are we not
It only
hearing about
has.
this?
No. Is it? Yeah, it's only 2.2 thousand. 13 years ago.
You're kidding.
That's this one, but it's on MattSorum.tv. Matt Sorum TV.
Whoa.
Yeah, 2.2K. That's it. 2,000.
Chrissy Hind on
That's crazy.
Dave Navarro. Nobody knows it's there.
That's awfully nice of Matt Sorum to put Chrissy Hind,
on his video, on his YouTube page.
Nice. Does he? I mean, I don't know that I would have. Again, I'm happy to see it as a side guy. But if it were me, I'd be like, I feel like. Do you feel like in rock and roll that's okay? Like she's okay with him doing it, or do you think he's out as far as Chrissy Hind is concerned?
That's a good question because I know that Matt got in a lot of trouble when he put his book out. And that a lot of people felt like he was stepping on their toe. He had to put out a revised version of his book because he said a lot of people were pissed.
Yeah.
So, yes, I guess the short answer is yes.
Well, there's a part in the book that I took exception with because I know Coulier. And I remember the story. When I first met Dave Coulier, he was talking about a party he had at his house. And Matt Sorum, the drummer for Guns N' Roses, came. And there was a bunch of people. This was back when Coulier was still drinking. And they had a great party. They ended up screwing around. And his wife, Matt Sorum's girlfriend or wife, whichever it was in the hot tub. And there was some issue that happened. Matt got very jealous, and all of a sudden he's throwing like plants in the pool, and he's mad, and he's screaming and raising all kinds of hell. And Dave Coullier's like, "You have to leave my house now," and made him leave the house. And he said he stood in the front yard yelling and screaming. And Dave told his story. And that was the end of it. And then the next day, Matt Sorum, to his credit, showed up and said, "Hey, I am sorry about the way I behaved."
Wow.
And Dave said, "I appreciate your apology, but we can't be friends."
Wow.
And that was the end of that.
That is an ouch moment.
And I always remembered that story. And then I read the Matt Sorum book, but it makes Matt turns into like this hard-ass hero about how he punched out Dave Coulier. And I'm like, listen, you've been in rock bands a long time. Soft rock bands. Like in the you weren't in the original Guns N' Roses. You were in Use Your Illusion. You got there when the times were good. So when I say soft, I go, you didn't have it hard, Matt. Right. Like you were in the Cult when you didn't have it hard. Right. You had it like you were in Velvet Revolver. You didn't have it hard.
Right.
So you didn't grow up on the streets of Hollywood whipping ass. And I go, Dave Coulier, nobody thinks of him as a super tough guy, but I do know he plays hockey every weekend, like your tooth knocked out hockey, like fist fight, getting your ass kicked, Michigan style, I'll punch you in the face hockey.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, if I got to choose between who's going to make that fight work, one of them's going to yell, the other one's going to fight. So I remember reading that and going, "That's not true." And I talked to Dave off air because I didn't even want to bring it up with Dave on air. And I just go, "Hey, what's this?" He goes, "You can't make somebody tell the truth, John." He goes, "He knows what happened, and I know what happened." I was like, I got it.
I love a good story, though.
Yeah.
I love a good story. Did you hear me telling Lejean the other night that story, the Eddie Murphy, Rodney Dangerfield story?
Oh, yes, when Eddie Murphy was sitting in the audience, he was watching.
It's the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest entertainment business story of all time. And when I saw him tell it,
because I'm going to just do the setup so you can tell it. It's just you were walking on the street, you didn't even know that Rodney was going to be there, right?
Well, it's Eddie Murphy comes out to do the Rosie O'Donnell show when she used to have a daytime talk show.
Right.
And as soon as Eddie sits down, Rosie goes, "I don't think people know that you and I have known each other since you were a kid." And he goes, "Oh yeah, you used to give me rides like when I was 15." And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, I've literally known Eddie since he was 14, 15 years old." And Eddie goes, "Yeah, you and Jackie Martling and all you guys just give me rides back to my home. And hey, were you there when Rodney showed up at the club that night?" And she goes, "No." And he goes, oh my God. He looks at the studio audience and says, "I swear to God, this is a true story. I swear to God." Looks back at Rosie and says, "When I was 15 years old, I was 16, at that club we used to go to in New Jersey, Rodney Dangerfield did a show at a local arena. After he gets done with the arena show, he came into the club to check out the local comics. And the owner of the club came to me and said, 'Hey, Rodney Dangerfield just showed up, so we're going to put him on, and then we're going to put you on after him.' And he said, and I had to follow Rodney Dangerfield. I was 16 years old. I had to follow Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney goes up, he kills. I go up and I do my thing." And he said, "And if you think Eddie Murphy Delirious was dirty, I was really dirty when I was 16. Very, very dirty. I get done with my set, and I walk into the audience, and I say hi to Rodney, and I say, 'Excuse me, Mr. Dangerfield, my name's Eddie Murphy. I don't know if you had a chance to watch my set.' And he said, 'I'll never forget.'" Rodney said, "Hey, kid, you're too dirty, and you're never going to make it. You're too filthy." And he said, I was crushed because Rodney was the first authority on stand-up comedy that I'd ever met, and he told me I was never going to make it because I was too dirty. Fast forward 8 years, and he looks back at the studio audience. No, it was 7 years. He looks back at the studio audience and goes, I swear to God, this is a true story. 7 years later, this is after Saturday Night Live, after Trading Places, after 48 Hours, I'm having a boys' weekend in Vegas with my boys. We're hanging out at Caesar's Palace. I got to go to the bathroom. I walk into the bathroom. The only person in the bathroom is Rodney Dangerfield at a urinal. I take the urinal on the other side of him, and I just stare at him. And when he looks at me, he goes, "Hey, who knew?" And he walked out of the restroom. That was the entire conversation. Greatest entertainment business story
Let me tell you how much fun it's been hanging out with Craig and listening to stories, because there's been so many good ones the other night. The Rodney Dangerfield story I thought you were getting ready to tell was when he got married.
Oh, there's a lot to that story. Yeah. Norm Macdonald told me that story, that Norm, before he was famous, he saw Rodney show up at the Improv from his wedding. He had just got married to his wife, Joan, and he walked in from his wedding, and they go, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest who want to drop in tonight. Please welcome, from his wedding, Rodney Dangerfield." He's like, "What?" And Rodney comes out in a tux, goes, "Hey, I just got married. Hey." And everybody's like, "Whoa." And he goes, "There's my bride." And everybody looks, and there's Joan in a bridal gown. Everybody stands up. Oh, and everybody's giving her a big round of applause. And Norm said, as people started to calm down and sit down, Rodney goes, "Yeah, she's no prize."
Oh, my God.
And the line, I'll try to edit it. He goes, "She said to me, 'Rodney, we got so much in common.' I said, 'Yeah, I don't like to suck tea.'" And she's still standing in her bridal gown, like waving. Yeah, the other story that Norm told me that I love, it makes me laugh, but it also makes me sad. I do not relate to sadness. I do not relate to depression. I genuinely feel for people who have it. And I feel lucky that my compass is always like, who wants chocolate? Who wants pizza? I'm constantly celebrating, which is why I'm so happy to be here with all of you. And Norm has this story about once he's on Weekend Update, Rodney is going to do a hit on the Weekend Update segment and didn't know that they do a dress rehearsal. Every Saturday when Saturday Night Live does a live show, they do 2 shows that night. They do a show at 8 o'clock that's 2.5 hours long.
Right.
And then they cut an hour of fat, and then they do a 90-minute show live on TV. And Ronnie didn't want to do a rehearsal. He's like, "Why do I have to rehearse? I know what I'm doing." And Norm was like, "Well, that's what we do. We might even add more jokes to this. We got it's very fluid." And he said Rodney just sat down. And he goes, It's all. I'll edit. He said, "It's all crap. It's all crap. TV is crap. Movies are crap. Comedy. That's the only thing we got is comedy." And then he said they sat there in silence for 2 minutes, and he goes, "Yeah, comedy is crap too." It makes me laugh, but it also makes me go like, "God, man, how are you that sad?"
But you're a different comedian, because you know as well as I do that most comedians, all of it comes from a very dark place.
Absolutely.
It's the pressure valve. It's what's letting it off so they don't go crazy, explode, turn into serial killers, whatever it is will happen to us.
James Inman.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
The guy who's performing with me.
But Carlin, everything.
No.
Prior.
George was an incredibly loving human being.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying he wasn't. I'm
Right.
saying that it comes from, there's another place in us, though. We see the hypocrisy. I say we,
Right.
People see the hypocrisy, and some deal with it this way, some do, it turns out into comedy.
Yeah.
With me, and everybody talks about George getting angrier at the end of his career. I didn't think it was so much. I think the world changed, and he just saw more hypocrisy. He just kept calling it out.
But he was still loving to people. George was my mentor.
Yeah.
And he flew me to L.A. a couple of times. This is creepy, but this is back in the days of answering machine tapes. I saved all my answering machine tapes from George.
Of course.
And George, I remember, it makes me cringe to think about this years later, because I had just started comedy when I met George, and my friend Shelley, who I grew up with, said, "Can you, next time you talk to George, can you tell him I don't appreciate his anti-recycling bit about F the planet's going to be fine?" And I said, "Sure." And I said that to George. The next time we talk on the phone, I go, "Hey, by the way, my friend Shelley says she recycles and she doesn't like that you did the whole anti-recycling thing." And he goes, "Well, I do recycle." And I said, "You do?" And he goes, "Yeah, my garbage guy caught me and said, 'Hey, George, I didn't think you did this. And I said, "Every little bit helps, right?" And he said, and he explained that he loves people. He said, I really love getting out and talking to people. One-on-one. People are really amazing.
Yeah.
It's when they start to form groups with an agenda that they get really scary. Really, really scary. And my God, was that telling the future at that moment.
Never
when he said
underestimate
that.
the power of stupid people and large groups.
But he was like, that guy, I remember I had a pen pal growing up. This girl, Lisa, I know.
Gather around, children.
Just had a pen pal.
I had a pen pal named Lisa Klarman.
I was never that focused. You literally had a. How does one get a pen pal?
We met at a Whitesnake show at Alpine Valley. When
How old are you when you had a pen pal?
I'm in my teen years.
It was the thing.
Yeah, we had a pen. I had a pen pal. This girl, Lisa.
That's lovely. But
Here's the thing.
I thought you would be like 8.
We lost touch. We lost touch when I started doing stand up, and my cocaine addiction was getting out of control. And Lisa, we lose. She suddenly, out of the blue, I pick up the phone. I go hello, and she goes, "Craig, it's Lisa." And I go, "How'd you get my number?" And she
pen
goes,
pal Lisa.
She goes, "You're not going to believe this." She goes, "I have the craziest story for you." She said, "The last time I talked to you, you said that George Carlin was helping you with your career. George Carlin just performed here in Miami last weekend." And she goes, "I go to the George Carlin show. I wrote a note. I handed it to a security guard, and I said, Johnny, how many times does this happen at concerts? All the time.
Can you give this to the
star?
star?
Can you give this to the star?"
Right in the trash.
Right in the trash. Security guard goes backstage. "Hey, George, there's a lady out here. Let me give you this." And the letter says, "Hi, George. You and I have a mutual friend. His name is Craig Gass. And I lost touch with him. And if next time you talk to him, can you tell him I said hi?"
In any other universe, you go crazy.
Yep.
You're like, wackadoo.
George says to the security guard, "Grab this girl and whoever she's with and bring them backstage." Bring them backstage. And she said she walks in and George goes, "So I don't have my phone numbers here with me, but they're back home. But I can tell you that right now, Craig is getting thrown out of comedy clubs, but he seems to like that. He seems to enjoy that. He seems to get a huge kick out of getting thrown out." And he gives her the best update he can. And then I realize, well, wait a minute. So how'd you get my phone number if he didn't have his phone number? And she goes, "Well, that's the other. Listen to this." She has her answer machine, and she pushes the button. Boop. "Hi, Lisa. It's George Carlin. I just met you last week in Miami. I'm home now, and I got my phone numbers out. This asshole moves a lot, so I got 4 different phone numbers from him." And he rattled off every phone number.
That's great.
And dude, I know I told you this before.
That's great.
And none of this is helping. What I'm about to say is way, way in the opposite direction of what I should be doing on the air with you right now. I know I told you this before, but the greatest indicator of what kind of a human being George Carlin was is he loved his wife, Brenda. He talked about Brenda all the time. They were married, I want to say, between 30 and 40 years when she was diagnosed with breast cancer and died 3 weeks later on Mother's Day. And I didn't seem to be able to connect with him when it happened. He was very standoffish and said, "I hear what you're saying, and I really appreciate you calling, but I got a lot going on, blah, blah, blah." So I called Dennis Blair, who was his opening act. Dennis is the one who introduced me to George. I said, "How is George doing? Is he okay?" And he goes, "I think so." My wife and I, when it happened, we went to the house, and his daughter, Kelly, grabbed him, and he talked to us for a little bit and said, "Listen, I haven't slept in several days, so I got to go to bed, but please, I'll call you later." And they said, "Okay, well, if you need anything, let us know." And he said, "My wife and I both saw this happen." George walked down the hallway, and Brenda, his wife, loved to collect stuffed animals. There were stuffed animals all over the house that she had collected over the decades. And he said, George walked down the hallway, opened up the door to his bedroom, and my wife and I could both see inside the bedroom, George had taken all of Brenda's stuffed animals and filled them in the bed.
Oh my
and
God.
he was sleeping with all of her stuffed animals. Yeah. And that is what kind of a human being George Carlin was. And that kind of attention to what's important is what makes me so happy to be able to do what I do and to have been able to pay my bills and my mom's bills for the last 20 years until she passed away in November. So, gratitude. None of this is helping me sell tickets for a comedy show.
GetGass.com. GASS.com.
You'd be surprised.
It's going to be an amazing show. 2 shows filled with stories just like these.
Everyone listening is like, I think I just started my period. I'm not going to that show.
My breasts are sore. I got to call my mom.
GetGass.com. GetGass with 2 S's.com.
All right, let's see. Let me find Leif.
He's bawling, by the way. You already know this.
Because honestly, he's been sitting on hold for 25 minutes.
No!
Yeah, he's brought to you by Worth Harley-Davidson. Check out that new and pre-owned inventory online at worthharleydavidson.com. When you find what you like, talk to the experts in person, go ride a motorcycle, call your mom, get tickets at GetGass.com. It's I-29 south of the airport.
Oh, yeah. The Johnny Dare Morning Show presents Sports in Your Shorts with Leif Lyse. Super honky. Getting funky now. Super honky. With the sports. Super honky. Getting funky now. Super honky. Ooh, Lord.
Mr. Lysick.
Johnny Dare, I can't tell you how much fun it is listening to George Carlin stories, because I got to tell you, so my son is, in college now, and we don't see him as much as we'd like, and he's got other things to do, but I was always a big George Carlin fan, and so I would show Drew, some George Carlin bits, on YouTube, and so now he'll come home and he will say, "Dad, have you seen this one?" And he will play me George Carlin, on his phone, and it's a connection that we have now that I just love. The one I can't do it justice, but it's the quiet ones you got to look out for. So look that one up sometime if you need a laugh. And so Drew comes home and he's doing that one verbatim, and he's showing me the video, and he's like, "Dad, the guys just don't get this." I go, "No, I understand. I understand."
Oh, dude. I mean, for me, it started with Class Clown.
Yeah.
That was it.
And the 7 words. I mean, we memorized the 7 words, and we could spit those back out. And oh God, we love George Carlin. I love those stories. I love
Place for My Stuff was the other. My dad threw away Place for My Stuff twice.
Yeah, but
I mean, playing with your head.
Again, it's not just the fact that I always would tell people he taught me a lot about how to be funny as a kid. Like my friends and I started changing the way we would talk to each other on the phone, because George would do that dramatic thing where he would
finish his sentences up close to the microphone.
And that's the way my friends and I would talk to each other. Like, well, maybe we'll get together if you
stop being an asshole.
We learned how to be funny from George, but as an adult, he taught me how to be a decent human being.
That's it. Those mentors, those people that come to our lives, and they're important at the time, but especially when you lose them, then you realize that's a big hole.
I worked with Kevin Smith on a comedy show, and Kevin told me, he goes, I hired George. I hired George to do Dogma, and he played a priest, and he goes, you want to hear something amazing about George? He said, we had a meeting, and George said, hey, there's something I'm really worried about doing this movie. He goes, I love this script, and I really want to do this movie. And he goes, but I'm playing a priest. And Kevin goes, yeah. And he goes, my wife just died. I don't want to take my wedding ring off, if that's okay. And he said, oh, that's fine, George. That's fine. Oh,
nice.
GetGass.com. Come down and cry. Come down and cry all weekend. Get Gas with 2 S's.
Oh no! Thanks for those stories. I love those stories. I love George Carlin. That was cool.
There'll be a support group shortly after the show.
Thank you.
I'm glad you told the stories too.
By the way, I just want to point out, I noticed it. I'm sharing sad stories. You don't see this because you're not in the studio. For some reason, my mouth is really juicy, and I'm like gleeking everywhere. So I'm just letting you know I'm aware of it, and I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mouth lube.
Thank you.
Hey,
you won't believe what
taking on
Nycki
the Bears this weekend. Chicago's defensive coordinator resigned this week. Their quarterback says he's been overcoached, says he's going to say, F it, just play his old way. It's got to be a lot of fun. Kickoff 3:25 Sunday. We'll have the postgame on Spectrum. Last night, 49ers beat the Giants. Park Hill grad Ronnie Bell scored his first NFL touchdown. Score one for the Niners. Royals open a weekend series in Houston. They're sitting at 102 losses. College football this weekend. KU sold out against BYU. 2:30 over in Lawrence. Missouri gets Memphis in St. Louis. K-State opens Big 12 play against UCF tomorrow night. Sporting KC faces off against Houston tomorrow night at Children's Mercy Park. NASCAR goes to Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. Johnny, I know you've been following the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift rumors, and they're starting to pick up steam. The Chiefs tight end didn't exactly deny it during an appearance on ESPN this week. He did say he threw the ball in Taylor Swift's court, telling her she rocked Arrowhead Stadium for 2 nights. She should come and see the Chiefs play to see who rocks it best. I think this could be the.
I'm not good at picking up girls, but I feel like that's. I've heard better.
No?
I've heard better pickup deals. Like, I saw you rock the stage. You want to come see me rock it at Arrowhead?
I think I don't know.
I feel like Nick. Am I wrong on that?
Maybe
Is
these
that a
two
solid-
opposites.
But see, he tried. You know, the Taylor Swift thing. And I don't have daughters, so I don't know. But there's a whole bracelet thing, and he put his phone number on a Taylor Swift bracelet and tried to get it to her, which I guess didn't work for some whatever reason. I thought that was probably a smooth move.
I feel like he's smarter than that.
I feel my gut tells me he's just trying to keep the story afloat, similar to Andy Reid keeping the story afloat that he does an amazing impression of Patrick Mahomes, but he won't do it.
Right.
Because he's been saying
it's funny.
He said a few years ago, if we win the Super Bowl, I'll do the impression for all of you. They won the Super Bowl, and he's like, not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just don't.
I think they're saving it for a State Farm commercial, actually. But yeah.
Ooh, good point.
Listen, I love Kelsey, and I think he's going to have a great life. But I just don't see he and Taylor Swift. I want it to happen. There's, hell, man, I love the guy. He seems fun, but she just always dates effeminate boys. Like,
and they never last.
And now, right? But listen,
good point.
I'm sure.
I know.
He'll put a hitch in her giddy up.
I'm a fan of opposites attracting.
That girl walk around with a busted spine. Jesus Christ, man.
I have weird. I don't know. It's eating late at night or whatever it is. But I told Laura I had a dream that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift showed up at our house for Thanksgiving dinner. And I don't know what that means. Other than we took a family picture and we just put them interspersed it with everybody else in the family picture and posted it just like they were part of our family. Huh. I don't know what that means. I don't know what. I've never met Taylor Swift. I don't know if she. So Laura's question to me was, did she bring wine?
Your wife.
That's hilarious.
I'm not sure she brought wine. But, hey, have a great show this weekend, and I love the stories. I'll see you, Johnny, on Monday with Sports My Shorts. I'm Leif Leisig for the Johnny Dare Morning Show.
Thank you, my friend. Stay right there. Hey, Jake, let them know if they want to meet us for the show tonight. If he and Laura.
I will. I'll let him know.
That'd be great. You'd love him. He's one of the sweetest. He's great at his job. He's a legendary sports guy. Above everything, much like we talk about his heart. Like, well, dude, I wish I wish I could have melded his dad and he together to have that dad. Like, because he's the most loving dad I've ever met in my life. Like, it's broken his heart that his son went to college. Like, really? if he could misery that poor kid and just break his ankles and just keep him home forever, like that would be the best moment in his life. They go golfing all over the United States together. That father and son thing, like it's incredible. Wow. It's really
incredibly
wonderful.
Sweet.
He's a good person. You'd love him.
I don't know why the hell he's on this show, but he is a.
My dad, on the other hand, I told you yesterday, and I don't think I clarified, beat me with my own Christmas present. My dad was a great dad, but he's an old school dad. And he got me a Hot Wheels track I really wanted. And I had the realization less than a week later, my dad spanked me with a Hot Wheels track. And I remember thinking, you're hitting me with a Christmas present. That's absolutely true.
What did you do to get the spanking?
Oh, God, no. My dad believed in spankings.
Really?
Yeah. And it went in varying levels. You could be a SWAT, it could be a Hot Wheels, it could be a belt. The belt you had to really screw up. My dad wore the belt like a gunslinger. like he'd be like, "You boys better quit it," and you'd be like, raising hell.
And he'd hover his hand.
And his hand would go like, you're like, I mean, it was like. But yeah, no. If he drew that smoker, it was on, man. Like, yeah, if it left the loops. There was no turning back.
Yeah, I'm so grateful I didn't have to deal with that. So glad I don't have a dad.
I told you the story of my buddy who I grew up with, Rocky, whose parents were deaf. And he used to do this thing. Did you ever cuss your parents when they were backs were turned?
All the dude.
Right,
oh my
I'm like,
God.
You're so lucky.
He did that, and I was like,
dude.
I knew somehow Jesus would have given them magic hearing at that point.
Dude.
His mom trained. He's like, F you, and I was like, I remember being like 8th grade, just for sure Jesus was going to magically make her understand what he had just done.
My buddy Jeff that I grew up with, I remember my mom was going to drop us off at the quote-unquote midnight movies.
Right.
And we were actually going to walk to a keg party a few blocks away. Of course, yeah. So she's dropping off at the theater, and as we're driving to the movie theater, I turn around in the back seat and I go, "Are you chipping in for weed? Because you said last week that you were not going to smoke any, and you didn't chip in, and you ended up smoking." And he goes, "Come on." And I go, "She can't hear." I go, "She's like, oh, yeah, that freaked him out.
His dad would come down and yell, and he'd be like, "Money, turn that thing off."
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
in the middle of the night, we'd be listening to records, and he could feel the bass in the house, and his dad would wake up and come down, "God damn it." Like, and he'd just yell at everybody. You're like...
I know I've said it before, but it bears repeating that when I opened for Metallica, Lars Ulrich was so fascinated with my story. He introduces me to his band and clearly didn't get the whole thing right. He goes, "Hey, man, this is Craig. This is the guy who does all the voices. And check it out. His whole family is retarded."
Oh, my God.
They're deaf. What are you talking about? They're not retarded. They're deaf.